Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, it's a sad state of affairs that it had to come to this, for the truth to finally be revealed, but I guess in a way that's what tragedy does, right? When shit hits the fan, all of a sudden people who had their heads down previously, well, they're now wide awake looking around and demanding answers. Finally, the focus is on Gavin Newsom. He seems to be at the center of it all. And again, like I keep saying, it just keeps getting worse for little Gavin. There's no more running away from this. Another bombshell story pops up showing just how deep the incompetence really goes here. There's actually a story, there's a truth behind these empty fire hydrants. And it's not that California just doesn't have any water. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Okay, so we've been seeing what the left has been saying, and mostly what I'm hearing sounds more like what you'd expect from a Gavin Newsom defense attorney than anything actually fact-based. There's been all kinds of bogus defenses of Gavin Newsom, people blaming the environmental crisis. There's some people suggesting, oh, California's just in a drought, there's nothing they could do, and so there's no water, where do you expect it to come from? But let's just say these defenses aren't holding up so well, as many people online are starting to point out a very interesting little factoid. Jimmy Dore just tweeted this: 1 year ago, Los Angeles experienced record-setting rains, yet the reservoirs above Pacific Palisades are completely empty. In 2014, California passed Proposition 1, authorizing building new reservoirs for water retention, and a decade later, none of them have been built. This is someone's fault. So California voters passed Proposition 1, which authorized billions of dollars to build new reservoirs for water retention for the exact purpose of capturing as much water during moments of heavy or record rain, and a decade later, nothing's happened. I mean, at this point, we're talking a near criminal level of mismanagement of funds. How many multi-billion-dollar promises does Gavin Newsom have under his belt that have gone essentially nowhere? Whether it's his $20+ billion allocated to solving the homelessness crisis, or the multi-billion-dollar plan to build high-speed rail that Gavin Newsom again has been talking about since back in 2008, and now this, another voter-approved, taxpayer-funded infrastructure project that the state desperately needs, and 10 years later, nothing has been built. That is insane. They're just not capturing the water. Look at the reservoir. This is the actual reservoir reported by the LA Times, totally empty during times of wildfire. And it's not because water isn't there, it's because they're not capturing it. And this opens up a whole other can of worms. Where the hell is all this water going? I found this clip from 2 years ago, dated September 25, 2022, from ABC 10, where the headline reads, "California drought, record rainfall needed to bust water supply crisis."
The rain that we're experiencing helps a little bit to take the edge off. Lifting us out of the drought emergency would likely take record precipitation at this time, somewhere on the order of what it took us out of the last drought from 2012 to 2016. This year, the Sacramento region was fortunate that most of the rain and snow fell within our watershed. We made the most of that by banking water underground in the aquifer during the wet times this winter, so that it was available for the dry times later on in the summer.
And that underground aquifer is key. Pfeiffer says we need to expand our utilization of underground water storage in California.
We are really interested in increasing underground storage to store water. That provides benefits to both Northern and Southern California, provides benefits to the environment. State of California, there's 50 million acre feet of developed surface water storage reservoirs altogether. Their capacity is 50 million acre feet. The State Department of Water Resources suggests that there's on the order of 1 billion acre feet available for groundwater banking and recharge. We really need to develop that opportunity in order to make sure that we have the water supply needed for California's future economy. What we would like to do is when there is plentiful surface water, we should be utilizing that. And we should allow our groundwater basins to recharge when that's happening. We have the capacity under our feet for 1.8 million acre feet of storage. That's nearly twice the size of Folsom Reservoir. We can do it.
So it's not like any of this is new. That's a nearly 3-year-old video where they're basically saying, hey, our top priority during times of record rainfall is storing as much water during storm times. And the reservoirs are empty. You know why? Because California isn't building the water reservoirs they said they would. And apparently they can't even keep the ones they have actually full. And again, I've been doing some research here and I found a 2-year-old article, this one written by NPR, that writes, California is getting drenched, so why can't it save water for the drought? Well, ding ding ding, once again, some of it can be captured for later, but the short answer is, it falls so quickly that we lack the ability to take that water and set it aside quickly enough in a place where we can store it later. In other words, they don't have the systems in place to capture rainwater and store it. I mean, the way the guy's describing it, it sounds like something out of the third world. I mean, what are you expecting? Putting out 1,000 people out there with buckets to capture the rainwater? Oh, we can't capture it fast enough, so we can set it aside quickly. That's insane. We're not talking about reinventing the wheel here. We're not talking about revolutionary technology. There's current adequate rain capturing technology. The issue is the state of California under Gavin Newsom's leadership hasn't freaking built it. This is the height of failure of leadership, point blank, period. It's the billions wasted on useless projects and vanity initiatives instead of building the infrastructure necessary that the state actually needs. And I know I've been saying that a lot, but that is the story, and that's the thing that needs to be repeated 1,000,000 times over. You got one of the biggest economies in the world, not just one of the biggest economies in the USA. No, California is the 5th richest economy in the world. They've got the biggest tax base, the biggest tax revenue, the most money coming into the government's tax coffers, and that money apparently seems to be disappearing. The voters are paying taxes, then passing propositions, hoping to have their money spent on those initiatives laid out in the propositions themselves, and they're getting nothing. Where are their tax dollars going? That's really the question I'm asking. I tell you, Gavin Newsom's got some serious explaining to do. Why on God's green earth was this reservoir empty? Where are the water reservoirs? Where's all the water that the state's supposed to be capturing during times of record rain? And that's really where the can of worms opens. Some people online are suggesting that the state's actually just funneling that rainwater right back in the ocean. We don't have the capability to take all this water, so let's just dump it right back into the frickin' ocean. We should be building more reservoirs to take in all that water. I mean, the voters did vote on it, but I guess devastating wildfires instead. Holy frickin' moly. I mean, the level of incompetence is just insane. What is being exposed right now is on a whole other level. Again, the word is mismanagement. Where are the taxpayer dollars going?
I am sick and tired of hearing about how wonderful the transportation system is in France and Japan, and have you been to Shanghai, or do you know what they're doing in Beijing? Well, finally, California is going to get it right with this new high-speed rail, and that northern terminus will happen here. And this project.
Gavin Newsom is officially the worst governor in America, and he should have resigned yesterday.